Okay, so after class on Monday, I received some emails from students indicating that they were confused about this assignment. I'm so sorry. I thought the assignment was clear, but it turned out that I needed to offer some further clarification. So after speaking with Professor Dela Cruz, I've added some new information to the assignment to make it more specific and tailored to the needs of this FIQWS course. So if you haven't already done so, please check out those edited instructions on Blackboard. To clarify a couple of points of confusion, yes, this is the same research paper that you're going to be submitting for Professor Dela Cruz. And I originally called it a critical analysis on Blackboard, which I understand was confusing for students. So I've just retitled it the research essay to keep it more streamlined. You must select a topic that's related to your narrative medicine course having to do with illness or the healthcare field. And you must use one of the theoretical texts that you have been using in Professor Dela Cruz's class to approach your subject matter. So for this essay, let me pull up the assignment that I have. And I promise I am going to shut up in just a minute and let you guys ask questions. Lorraine is here, awesome. Let me pull up that assignment. Okay, cool. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so this assignment, in contrast with a conventional research paper in which you just present your own argument about a topic, this assignment asks you to choose a text related to what you've been discussing in narrative medicine, and that can be an article, it can be a video, it can be an interview, it can be a meme, it can be a podcast, and it has to address an issue that you discussed in Professor Dela Cruz's course. And you're going to write a 2,500 to 3,000 word critical analysis paper. And I imagine that you're going to structure your paper this way. You're going to spend the first portion of your paper analyzing your primary source, and that includes discussion of the rhetorical situation of your primary source material. And again, your primary source material is that print, video, audio, or image that you've selected related to narrative medicine. The next section of your essay is going to be applying the theoretical lens that you've selected from your readings from the narrative medicine course to your chosen piece of media. So what that looks like is discussing the ways in which the theoretical reading impact your understanding of your print, video, audio, image. So I know that one of your classmates is working on Eurocentrism in the medical field, and you could apply. So you could select like an interview with someone who's experienced racism in the medical field and discuss the ways in which the theoretical text that you've read in Professor Dela Cruz's class adds more context to this singular piece of information being that interview. So that's what I imagine the second portion of your essay looking like. And then the final portion of your essay is going to be discussing the way that your chosen piece of media relates to the broader conversation going on about that subject matter. So is your piece of media in alignment with what scholarly research is saying. Are popular source materials picking up on this topic? So it's not just a paper to inform, but it's a paper to evaluate the author's argument and increase the reader's understanding of it by offering that theoretical lens and also offering the contextualization of bringing in the other sources, your scholarly sources and popular media sources. So this is what I just said, explaining the author's argument, and I am requiring that you include some discussion of the rhetorical situation here. We've been working on that all semester, and I wanted to incorporate that into our final paper. And this is really important. Your essay must include a clear thesis statement that has all of these elements in it, establishes the meaning of the text, forms an opinion about that meaning, and demonstrates how the ideas conveyed in that text connect with the world at large. You should provide detailed textual analysis, which we've been doing all semester, and you are all well equipped to do, and the minimum of 3 scholarly sources and 2 popular media sources. Okay, that's my spiel. Now, what questions do you have about this assignment? Sebastian.
So the first question is the narrative medicine source that we're using. Mm-hmm. Is that included in the 3 scholarly short sources and the 2 the regular sources?
Oh, this is a great question. So your primary source and your theoretical lens source, your theoretical source, do not count towards that minimum source requirement. So those 5 sources are 5 additional sources to your primary source and your narrative medicine source. Other questions? You can feel free to unmute yourself. Sebastian, another question?
Yes, I have another question. So the theoretical lens is like, if we're talking about a particular illness, we use an example to explain how it agrees with that narrative medicine source.
That would be a great way to approach this. Yes.
Okay.
Leslie.
Just to clarify, this research paper and Professor de la Cruz's research paper are 2 separate assignments, right?
They're the same assignment.
Oh, so like we're only doing one? No.
Yeah, just one final paper that you're submitting to both classes.
Okay, I understand now. Thank you.
Toshi, yes, it's the same paper. Michelle.
This is regarding the self-assessment, but could you elaborate on one of the course learning outcomes, which is understanding and using print and digital technologies to address a range of audiences?
Sure. So I imagine when you're discussing that course what I'm hoping for that course learning outcome is that you've had the opportunity in this class to explore connecting with audiences in a variety of different genres, both through the composition in 2 genres assignment and your analysis in your source-based essay. So I'm looking for evidence that you've learned to approach a variety of different audiences in text that could appear in print or on the internet. I'm aware that none of our assignments for the semester have been printed at all, and it's all been online. But yeah, does that answer your? So like for that course learning outcome, I imagine that most of you all are going to draw on evidence from your composition in 2 genres assignment, in which many of you made a piece to be displayed on the internet and or made a piece to be displayed in print. Is that helpful? Okay.
Yes, that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Leslie.
Yes, so on the topic of the self-assessment, I saw that you said we need to at least talk about the source-based essay composition into genres and the critical analysis, but since we haven't written the critical analysis yet, is it okay if we haven't mentioned that yet, or would you like us to talk about it?
Sure, if you want to include the portion of where you discuss the critical analysis later, that's fine with me. This is just a draft, so whatever you have so far is fine.
Okay, thank you.
Lorraine.
Yes, hello. So on the topic of the self-assessment, where do we have to upload like the actual like work, like the papers that we're talking about, and where do we do that?
So that's going to be on your academic commons site. You're going to remember at the beginning of the semester, I had you all make a site on academic commons, and I'm going to provide you some more information about how to get that set up next week. And so on your site, you're going to have at a minimum, your self-assessment, your source-based essay, your composition in 2 genres, and your critical analysis essay. So all of your major sources that you've, or all of the major papers that you've written for the semester. And you're free to include, if you like, any discussion posts or drafts or smaller pieces of writing that we did for the semester. It's up to you. I'm requiring those 4 elements, and those 4 elements are all to be displayed on your portfolio on Academic Commons.
Okay, thank you. I have another question.
Sure.
For the research paper, can you elaborate more on like the sources, the amount of sources we have to include for this?
Sure. So you're going to have your primary source, which is your source that you're going to analyze, which can be any type of source that you like. Something that I haven't mentioned yet that many of you might want to do, but many of you might want to select a set of data for your primary source. That could be a really interesting option, especially for this course. So you're going to have that primary source. You're going to have your source that comes from your narrative medicine course. You're going to have 3 scholarly sources, and then 2 popular media sources. So those would be like your New York Times article, your Vice article, or your Washington Post article.
Okay, and is the screen, you shared a screen just now, was the document the same that you uploaded before? Is it the same thing or is it a different document?
I adjusted it this week. So if you haven't looked at it yet this week, I've made some adjustments to it.
Oh, okay.
And the adjustments are just to provide further details. I'm not necessarily asking anything more of you. I just wanted to provide some clarification. But
Right,
that document is on Blackboard.
Okay, thank you.
Sebastian.
So the topic in which we're writing about could be about any medical field or like any problem that we encountered in our narrative medicine course.
Yes.
And it could be like a variation of that.
Yeah.
As well. Okay.
Yeah. As long as it's related to your narrative medicine course. If you have specific questions about your topic, Professor De La Cruz is probably better equipped to handle those. I'm fine with your topics. If you want to run your topics by me, I'm happy to discuss them, but it might also be useful to talk about them with Professor De La Cruz.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Michelle.
For a research paper, since would the tone of our writing be more formal, and would we use or can we use first person, for instance, words?
Great question. So first person is actually very common in academic writing, and it doesn't make your writing any less formal. So I think use of the first person is great in an essay like this. And I think that use of the first person has the benefit of eliminating the passive voice in a lot of senses. So I encourage you to use the first person. Nawang, I don't have any examples of critical analysis for this particular FIQWS course. I'm happy to provide critical analyses that students have done for other topics, if that would be helpful to you. Would it be helpful to you for me to provide critical analyses that students have done with other FIQWS topics? Cool. Okay, I'll upload some of those today. I'll put those on Blackboard by the end of the day today, probably like within the next hour. Oh, I was hesitant to put them up because I didn't want you to get confused about the topics that you could do, but I can definitely do that. Any other questions about the I keep wanting to call it the critical analysis because that's what I always call it in my class, but it's the research paper. The research paper or the self-assessment and portfolio. All right. If you'd like to go over your draft with me of your critical analysis, I am more than happy to set up a meeting and discuss that with you. Please reach out to me over email. I know there's been some confusion about this assignment, and I am happy to do everything that I can to help you all get on the right track. I can say that I've seen a few of your drafts, and it seems as if you're going in the right direction. So of the work I've seen, it's been very good. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions. I might not respond back quickly over the weekend, but I will try to get responses over the weekend. And I have flexible availability on Monday for meetings if anyone would like to set up a meeting with me. And I would more than love to have one-on-one meetings with all of you. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you think that's something that would be helpful for you. If there are no further questions, we can go. Oh, Lorraine, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Just to confirm, the due date is Monday, right? By 11:59 for the draft.
What did I say? You know, I said Monday on Blackboard, but I just told a student Tuesday yesterday. So Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. I'm going to say is the due date for your first drafts.
Okay, thank you so much.
Anything else I can help y'all with? Well, thank you for being here today. I know that this is a really, really stressful point in the semester. The bad news is it's this stressful every semester. The good news is there's a break on the other side of all this stress, and you all are going to get through it just fine. I hope to hear from all of you, and I can't wait to read your papers. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're so welcome.